year, legacy in business, and top performer in her industry. She is also an internationally known business consultant, sought after by clients for expertise in the business sector. As a keynote speaker, Diane is renowned for her ability to inspire and motivate others to reach their full potential. Her powerful message of listen, inspire, motivate has resonated with audience worldwide, making her a true leader and visionary in the industry. In addition to her accomplishment, Diane is also a talented podcaster, sharing her insights and experiences. Her commitment to helping others and unwavering dedication to excellence has made her a true inspiration and role model for aspiring entrepreneurs everywhere. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our guest speaker, Diane.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, for inviting me to be here today. It's definitely a privilege for me. I know everyone's eating, but I need you to stand up for just a second before we get started. All right. I need you to shake out your arms. I need you to find someone in the room, make eye contact, and wave hello. Awesome. Thank you. All right, now we can get started. We needed to shake those bodies out a little bit because we learn best when we are active, when our body is active, right? So with that being said, today I have a really great theme presentation for each of you. It's an interactive business consulting session. So today I am your business consultant, okay? So I'm going to go through a couple things, and this is only as good as your participation. All right, so please ask questions. I am here to answer any questions for you as we're going throughout the presentation. So let's get started. Run your company, don't let it run you. By a show of hands, has anyone here in the room ever been at a point in their company where they're like exhausted, burnt out, they're burning the candle at both ends, and they feel like it just isn't moving quick enough or fast enough? By a show of hands, you're off camera. So, okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And that is really important. So, are you running your business in chaos or in confidence? This is a question that's thought-provoking, because immediately when you ask that question, your brain is going to tell you. If it's running in confidence, you feel accomplished and that you're moving in the right direction. If you're operating in chaos, you have a certain level of confusion on certain decisions that you're trying to make in your business. And that makes all the difference in how you catapult yourself forward from where you are right now. So what is one pain point that you want to change in your business right now? Can anyone think of one thing? Just one thing. Funding. Okay. So that's one pain point. When you ask that question, that comes to mind. So that needs the most attention right now in your business.
Maybe
Staffing. So hiring and funding. Okay, both very important things to run a business, right? Okay. Pricing? Okay. So tell me a little bit about that. Is it pricing? Are you a service-based industry?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So how you price out to your clients?
Yeah, compared to what's going on in the world today. So you have to go up to spot.
That's right. In order to be profitable.
That's right.
Yeah. Awesome. So we're going to go over 5 easy action steps that you can implement now into your business to help you eliminate some of those pain points that you have going on currently. Okay? So we are going to take the 5 action steps to take you from chaos to confidence. So you're getting a makeover today. You guys didn't know that, but you are. Makeover in effect. Okay, the first step is to ask for what you want. Just like Peter Gay and Randall. Yes? Okay, both of you asked for what you wanted, right? You need help with funding and staffing. You need maybe some assistance for getting comfortable with the fact that you have to raise your prices in order to be competitive in the market and profitable in your business, right? So asking for what you want. One thing that you can do in order to get there when you're asking for what you want in business is mind mapping. Has anyone ever used mind mapping as a tool? Sound familiar to anyone? Awesome. So tell me an instance where you use mind mapping. I'm putting you on the spot now.
So we had well, currently right now, my nonprofit, we're working on a project with the King Center,
Okay.
which is supposedly a really big deal.
That's awesome, yeah.
We sort of mind mapped the workflow of how they wanted to act. We presented it, they liked it, they don't want to give us the asking price.
Okay, so you're still in negotiations, how
Right,
about
it's
that?
a negotiation.
It isn't a no, it's in negotiation.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So from the point, the mind map took you from what the client wanted and what they needed,
Right,
right? And then you came up with the strategic plan in order to complete it.
correct.
Awesome.
So mind mapping then is kind of thinking through the plan, but you're just not writing it down, is that what it is?
Great question. We're gonna
Oh.
get to that next. So here is actually an example of mind mapping. There's multiple different forms. This is just a simplified one, okay? And so this is a mind map. So basically you start by asking for what you want, right? You need staffing and you need funding, all right? So that's your topic. So you write down what it is that you need and the problems that you have right now, and then you come up with 2 solutions, okay? So I am going to give you an example based on a service business. So one of the companies that my husband and I own is a cleaning service. So I'm actually going to give an example of mind mapping in our industry. Okay, so the topic is the client cancels at 3 a.m. and she's scheduled for 8 a.m. This presents a problem if you're in the service industry sector and you have your staffing in place to go out to provide services. You have a very limited amount of time to make decisions to solve the problem before that team member invests their time to get there on time to take care of the client, right? So the problem is the tech has an opening on the schedule and it's too late to fill it. So what do you think are 2 solutions that we could possibly come up with that? What are 2 solutions? Anybody have anything?
I think that the problem is at the point that the client cancels, it can elevate up. I guess you have to put a team for an audit schedule that would automatically fill a gap if someone cancels.
And that's great. And that's a piece of implementing a system that has the automation piece, right? That would help alleviate this. That's a great one. Anyone else have another one? Anything come to mind?
You could put in, you can't cancel past this particular time.
Or else?
Or else we take the money.
Exactly. That's awesome. We keep the money, right? So let's see what solutions we had here. Charge the client a cancellation fee of $50 to $75, right? If there's a cancellation and it's less than 24 hours, there is a cost for that because we made all the preparations for the team member to be there. It doesn't give us enough time unless we have an auto scheduler like Denise had suggested, which is a great idea. So that's one solution. And the next one is to send out email or text reminders, which would be like an automation, right? So when you're mind mapping, you're basically asking for what you want. What is it that you want? What's the problem? What is the topic? What are the problems? And what are the solutions? It's amazing that this, just going through the process of this, you start to think of solutions, right? If you're just thinking that you have a problem in business, that's what you will have. You will have a problem in business. And your mind can't find the solution. Now, if you're saying, I'm going to do a mind mapping on this, it's just a little chaotic, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but when you write it out, it makes all the difference. All right, number 2, stop doing everything. Who here is a serial entrepreneur that has amazing ideas and they do everything and then they're burnt out? Anyone in the room? About 50% of the room. Yeah. So stop doing everything. How can you do that? Is to implement the 1-3-5 rule. Anyone here use that rule? 1-3-5? Okay. It's a really simple rule. And it goes in alignment with your daily tasks. So having 1 large task, 3 medium tasks, and 5 small tasks, okay? So if you're having confusion in your day-to-day and you have to do so much, but you're just paralyzed, you can't even take one step because just the thought of all the stuff you have to do, this is a great tool to have. 1, 3, 5, okay? So if you make the commitment to yourself, I'm gonna do 1 large task, 3 medium, and 5 small tasks. What does that look like? This is an example, right? This is an example of the 1, 3, 5. So the daily tasks, the big task could be running your payroll. That's really important. The team likes to get paid weekly, so that's a big task. 3 sales calls, and 5 small tasks would be to send emails. Now what happens is this creates momentum, right? As you do the tasks, you feel accomplished. Oh, I got this all done. So at the end of the day, you have 9 tasks completed when in the morning you're thinking about how can I even get this all done? What it does is it creates momentum. And then you're gonna do what, I'm gonna do another 1, 3, 5. Then you do the second set. And you get to the end of the day and you'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish. Because our mind is set up to do 3 things naturally: fight, flight, freeze. Naturally. That's how our brain was created, right? So we actually have to train it with these tools in our toolbox, right? Mind mapping. Okay, I feel chaos and confusion. I have this problem. I'm going to mind map it. Sometimes within 5-10 minutes, you have a solution, right? You feeling overwhelmed. All these tasks are piling on your desk. 1, 3, 5. That's the tool in your toolbox, right? Okay, number 3. This is a scary one. Have written systems. I was on a call yesterday with a client, and she said, I just want to hire employees so we can go out and provide these services. I said, okay, do you have written systems? No, not yet. Okay. Well, when the employee arrives, are they going to, Randall, you're laughing. Did something come to mind here?
You've been a manager for so long, it's just funny that you say that, because you run against other people that just fly off the seat of their pants and just do what you just said.
Yep. Exactly. And not have a clue. And that's the thing. You have the intention, you want to have the team, you want to grow your team, but do you have the systems? Is there a plan of action for that team, for them when they arrive there on day 1? That will make all the difference in the success of your business. But then we're like, oh, I have to write up the system. That's just too much work, right? Well, you can implement the 1, 3, 5 rule, right? Okay, so here are 4 systems that just in any business that you're going to need. You're going to need a phone system. How are they going to reach you? You're going to need a hiring system. How are you going to find that amazing team member that's going to be, the next best team member that's going to be out there saying, this is an amazing place to work at. The training system, when they arrive, how are you going to handle that? Are they going to get a uniform on day 1? What are the expectations? What's the company culture? And 4, having a sales system. Okay, pick one and write it up or purchase one, right? You have plenty of opportunities. Let's say, Randall, in your company, it's exterminator, right? So tell me one system in your company that is imperative to the success of it.
I do residential home inspections.
Oh, residential home inspections, I'm sorry. Okay, so tell me one system that's imperative for the success of your business.
Scheduling appointments.
Scheduling appointments.
That's most important, scheduling appointments.
Okay, so if I wanted to schedule an appointment with your company, what does that look like?
I have a website.
Okay,
On the website, and then it tags me, and then from there, the process starts.
awesome.
As far as getting all your information, and I'll get that information from you, and then send you my information, and the appointment is set up.
Perfect.
After payment.
After payment. Okay, so that's your system,
Yeah.
right? It's your scheduling system. It's a little bit of your sales system as well. It goes hand in hand because someone could go and say, I need my home inspected by this date. I have the closing on this date. They can go there and they can get all of that accomplished on your website without even speaking to you. Awesome. Okay. Now, do you have that written?
Yes. On documentation, once I send it back to you.
Okay. Perfect. So you have a system that works, without you being there. It's automated and it's written. That's a successful system.
But is it written for when you have a new member, a staff member comes, that you can hand it to them to say, this is the process?
This is just me.
So it's not written.
It is.
It's not written.
We're all holding each other accountable here. That's good. Accountability.
In front of the company.
There might be a little arm wrestling behind the scenes.
I'm just,
Too funny.
to your point, has to be written for everyone else except you, sir.
Well, the whole system is for me,
No,
not for
when
the
you,
employee.
her point is when you are expanding your staff, when your staff comes in day one, you need to be able to hand them this booklet.
She didn't
Correct
say-
me if I'm wrong, Diane, please jump in.
Well, I
Feel
didn't hear
free.
you
Now
say-
they're in.
I didn't hear you say staff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you
But
have the
of course,
system,
I
right?
have the system.
That's
And I
right.
would train my employees.
That's
the same
right.
system. Everything is black and white. Nothing changes. So,
And so with that being said, I think what Abhinav is saying is that having it written, so the SOP, right, the Standard Operating Procedures Manual, that there's actually a sheet of paper or digital, copy. This is what happens on the website, X, Y, and Z, and then this happens,
And
right?
I don't mean to get on Randall, because quite frankly, I'm guilty as well. I had an employee started yesterday, and I did not have a booklet to hand to him. And I'm like, okay, this is what we need to do, but yeah, I know I should have a standard operating procedure, but I
Yeah.
just need to find the time to get it together.
And I think that it's scary, just the thought of it, and it goes back to some of the tools that we first started off with, right? If you just pick one and do one at a time, you can write it yourself, you can purchase it, you can go online and find it, you can hire a business consultant to say, this is what I want it to say. There's so many different ways that you necessarily don't have to do it,
Right.
but you could delegate it
True.
out, right? Okay. So let's go over the phone system. What does that look like for you? Are you using your cell phone? Does someone have access to you 24/7? Or do you have a business line? This is something that I see a lot with small businesses, is you're using your personal cell and then people have access to you 24/7. And then the boundary that you set for yourself, sometimes it's not there. You're like, oh, calls coming in at 10 p.m. Well, you don't have to take them, right? You can put your phone on DND, or you can get a business phone line. Another thing with your phone system, if you have your business phone line, answer your call within 20 seconds. How many times have you gone online to look for some type of service, Google, right? You Google it, you call the company, nobody answers. What do you do next? Call someone else, the next number, and you keep calling until somebody answers the phone. So having the phone system, having a business line, having this as your SOP, your standard operating procedures for your phone system as well, is really important. Answer the phones Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Or if you want to have your phones answered on the weekends, you could delegate that out. You could hire an answering service. You can hire a virtual assistant. Sometimes when we hear that, it might be scary, like, I can't afford it. Well, can you afford not to? Because if you miss 5 calls on the weekend, and each of those clients are going to bring in a potential client that's $5,000 each, just putting a number out there, right? That's $25,000 you could potentially have made just by answering the phone. Can you afford it? That's it. Okay, the hiring system. So this is one that, it comes up a lot. And I see this a lot with my consulting clients. I want to hire the best team, but I don't have a system in place. I don't offer any benefits. With Jerry, right? If you had Jerry could offer Affleck to the team member. But having the hiring system, like, what does that look like from the beginning to the end of it? So the first step can be, where are you prospecting? Where are you finding your candidates? There's so many different ways that you could find your candidates. So I'm just giving 3 examples here. Indeed, setting up your Indeed account. But here's the one thing on Indeed that people don't think about. If I am hiring someone for Powder Springs from Indeed, I might not want to be prospecting my candidate pools from Powder Springs. I might want my candidates from Lithia Springs, right? So think about that. Even though you're hiring for a position here, where is your ideal employee avatar? Your IEA. Where do they live? Where does the ideal person for your position live? And prospect to those areas as well. And sometimes we don't think about that. So having that set up, that hiring system, okay, you post on Indeed and you're gonna prospect that position to all of the surrounding towns to Powder Springs, okay? Facebook, you could post on Facebook. There's amazing groups online that have tens of thousands of people on there that you could share a job posting. What is the cost to you? Your time, right? Or job boards. You know, there's a lot of different ways that you can post. You can even create your own Facebook job posts for your area. How about that? Then you can post as many times as you want. Powder Spring jobs, or whatever you want to call it. You create a Facebook group. Now you could post there every day, plus other people could post as well. And you build your group and your audience, and now you've created your own funnel for prospecting. Okay, so Indeed, have a monthly budget. Indeed is just the example that I picked, but there's other different ZipRecruiter and things like that, but Indeed is one that I use personally and that I've had great success with. Set your monthly budget. What does that look like? How much are you spending on your hiring? If you want the best team, if you want to hire the best team, you need to make the investment, either of time, posting on the boards, because someone isn't just going to come and knock on your door. Well, that may have happened a couple times, but someone isn't just going to naturally come and knock on your door and saying, I want to work for you, without you investing your time. Oh, I can't find any great employees. Well, are you prospecting? Are you posting? Are you out there trying to get that person, or are you just saying, I can't find anyone? Okay. Part of the hiring system, Tuesdays and Thursdays, Zoom interviews. Group Zoom meeting. If you feel that the candidate is the right fit, invite them in for an in-person interview. Now you met them face to face. As opposed to setting it up in the office, you're hiring, you have 10 people scheduled to come in, and how many show up? 2. 2 is pretty good. 2 is pretty good. So how are you investing your time? What does your system look like? That group Zoom meeting, if they are motivated and they're interested in the position with your company, they will show up. If you feel that they're going to be the right fit, then you bring them in for the second interview, then you offer them a job. What's next? After you offer them the job, you have that hiring packet. It could be digital, it could be on paper. Paper sounds a little archaic, but it's nice and easy sometimes. Not everyone has the skill set as far as on, you know, when you email them the documents and they have to download them, or you could just set up the documents as a DocuSign, you know. So those are all options, DocuSign, paper, however, but whatever it is, have a written system about it, right? When you hire them for the job, that's the next step. That's done. Where the person isn't, where on the first day, they're coming in, they're ready. Here's all my info. You just have to do your piece of processing, where you're not just sitting there and waiting for the person to fill out the paperwork. Because 9 times out of 10, what's my routing number? What's my bank account number? They're looking for that info. Have them take it home and they can do that at their leisure. Okay, now a training system. This is a big one in small businesses. I have seen over and over again, we lack the training systems. This is how you do it. And then you walk away. Oh yeah, just do it like that. And then you come back like, what'd you do? Well, you told me to do it like that. You have to explain the whole system, because everyone comes with a different skill set. And what means something to me might not mean the same to you. So the training systems are imperative. So this is just an example of training in a cleaning service. First week of training, you watch the training videos. The first week, you're in the field training with the training manager, okay? Weeks 2 to 6, it's your onboarding period. So you have 5 weeks of onboarding. And then at week 6, you get a certification and we give you a company gift, right? The 5 weeks allows you the time allotted to see if this person is going to be the right fit or not. If they get to decide if they want to, if we're a right fit for them and if they're a right fit for us. And so we already have this set up. We know that it takes about 6 weeks to optimization in our industry for someone. Once we bring them on, you don't just train them one day and then they're done the next. That's not how it works. It's about 6 weeks until we say, okay, this person is going to go out there and they are going to rock it. And now the sales system. Rich Randall, you shared a little bit of that, of your system. So having a sales script. If you're answering the phone, what are you going to say? If you answer the phone, if your sister, if your brother, if your VA answers the phone, what are they going to say? It should sound the same. The customer experience should be the same. Estimates provided by phone. In our industry, in the cleaning service, some people still go out into the client's homes and visit with every single home, with every single client. We no longer do that. Everything is done either digitally on the computer or it's done over the phone. You could ask specific questions. And for example, in the junk removal business, we ask for pictures. Okay, send us pictures of what you need hauled away. So there's so many different ways that you could do things that you don't actually have to go out to every single client's home to provide an estimate. Okay? Deliver it by email, your estimate, and then follow up within 24 hours. Okay, now here's another thing that I feel goes untapped in small businesses is creating a funnel, a nurture funnel. If a client that wasn't ready yet, start a nurture campaign, right? And John, you had just talked about that. You created this amazing app, right? So it's a not yet. You're still negotiating. You could still create that nurture campaign and go back and say, hey, how's it going? What are your thoughts? Have you had just continue that conversation. It could be done digitally, automated. There is so many different CRMs out there that you could use to nurture those clients that initially reached out to you that weren't ready for business on day one. Now, number 4, implement your systems. You have all these systems. They're in a beautiful box. You have your hiring system. You have your phone system. You have your sales system. You have your training system. Now, what you going to do with that? You have to implement it. So implement one system a week. If you do it that way, guess how many systems you can implement in a whole year? 52 systems. Just one a week. And have grace with yourself. This is a big one, okay? This is a really big one. Sometimes we are our own worst enemy. We say things to ourselves that are so horrible that the thought of us speaking that to another human would be mortifying. But we say that to ourselves. You're not good enough. You can never do this. You're failing. And so because our mind is wired for those 3 things, fight, flight, or freeze, we have to be intentional on what we say to ourselves. So, writing 10 positive things about yourself, words of affirmation, everybody hears that. This is a classic, but it's a classic, I think, that goes sometimes it could go so much deeper than it does, but we don't invest the time to actually write those positive things about ourselves. We'll tell our children that. We'll give someone else a compliment easier than we can do it to ourselves. So I'm going to share a few of them. These are some of my favorites, okay? I am able to exceed under pressure. So when the brain says, oh my gosh, fight, flight, or freeze, no, I can exceed under pressure. I could do this. I am financially successful, right? Sometimes you're financially successful, but you're looking at, but I haven't reached that mark yet. Okay, but on your way there, you are financially successful, on the way to your next goal. I continue to climb higher. There are no limits to what I can achieve. Sometimes we dim our light because we feel that we're not worthy of it. We are each a beautifully packaged gift, and it's a gift not just to ourselves, but to others. Every day I become more confident, powerful, and successful. Every day I become more confident, powerful, and successful. When I first had to go to a networking event, it was at the Chamber of Commerce, probably 2006, 2007. So my husband says to me, we're going to this chamber network event. Okay, oh my gosh. I'm like, I'm introverted. This is gonna be horrible. Okay, my main goal is gonna be not to throw up. That's my goal. So I'm like going to the event, and I showed up, and guess what? I didn't throw up. Mission accomplished. And that's kind of, you know, when I went and I'm getting the feedback like, oh, it was great talking to you. Could we meet up? And I'm like, oh my gosh, they want to spend time with me, right? This was, what, 2006, 2007, so 16, 17 years ago. And so what I was doing before that is I was keeping all of my gifts to myself, right? I would share with my children, share with my husband, but when I had to go out into the world, it was scary. But I did it anyway. And each time I went out there, the next time it got easier and easier and easier. I let go of old negative beliefs that have stood in the way of my success. So when I was scared to go out and do the networking events, and when I was scared to do public speaking, each time I went out there, it got better. So some of the benefits of words of affirmation, which are some of the ones that we just went over today, they motivate you to act. When you take action, you are one step closer to success. Just like when you're out and you're in business and you're prospecting and you're making 10 calls and you got 10 no's, but guess what? You're 10 steps closer to that yes. You're shaking that tree. Something's going to fall out eventually. But if you do nothing, nothing happens. Things actually get worse because you don't address the things that you have to that are in front of you, right? So your desire to continue is boosted when you say words of affirmation to yourself or you even write them down. You concentrate on your goals. Your goals are achieved by persistently keeping your mind focused on the goal zone. It changes your negative thought patterns into positive ones, which I think that sometimes we don't talk about enough, that we do have the power to change our thoughts on a daily basis. It's not easy, but it is possible, and we can do it. You influence your subconscious mind to access new beliefs. In order for us to get to that next version, whatever that is for each one here, each business owner here in the room, it's something different for each person, right? Whatever that big grisly goal is, you need to boost yourself to get there. You're going to need new thought patterns. You're going to have to take different steps to get that yes from that amazing app that you created, right? So all of these things, the words of affirmation, they do that for your mind. It's a rewiring of your brain based on what you are choosing to tell it. And it helps you to feel positive about yourself, and that is the most important thing. You can go out in the world, you can face everything. If you're going out and you're like, yeah, I got this. Sometimes it's a pair of shoes. You know, sometimes it's that purse, like, oh, I got today is going to be a beautiful day, right? Whatever that means to you. Sometimes it's just lipstick. You know, how many times have you put on that lipstick and you're like, whew, today is going to be it, right? So whatever it means to you. So if you implement these 5 action steps into your business, you can take it from chaos to confidence. Now, what questions do you have for me? Did anything resonate with someone when I said it and you're like, okay, that's something that I want to take action on? Did anything come to mind on something? Go ahead, Jerry.
The 1-3-5 rule, I think for me, starting at like, it is definitely challenging because I went from, being an undergraduate in college and having my schedule the same every day of the week to then, yeah, you make your own schedule and you figure it out, and I'm just like, I am overwhelmed. I have 5,000 people calling me, emailing me saying, we want to do this, we need this, da 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 da. I'm like, I don't even know where to start. And some days I'll text my friends, I'm like, what am I doing? And they're like, you're where you need to be, but you need to figure out a system to put in place to help you get things done. So, and it's about to be 2 years of me doing this, so the 135 rule I think will be very helpful for me because I can try to do every single thing all at once and then get derailed because as business owners, we can't just focus on one thing because then somebody else calls us and then we're focused on that thing and then we get an email and then we're focused on that thing. And so I think this will help me narrow down things and kind of work in piecemeal as opposed to just chaotically and frantically trying to answer everyone all at one time. So yeah, that was very helpful.
Absolutely, I love that. And I love what you said, right? When you had that structure in college, it was one thing. And then now you had to have structure for yourself. But as business owners, many times we're there with you. So you're not alone on that journey. But that's awesome that that's a tool that you can implement immediately. Yeah. Anyone else? Any of the 5 action steps speak to you?
It totally requires discipline. If you don't have discipline, you would just, to me, you would just, I'm more of a visual person. Exactly what you said. I'm more of writing things down so I can see it. And then when you speak to customers and speak to other people or employees, when you write it down, when you just talk to them, they probably don't have a clue, but when you slide it and let them see exactly what these processes are, procedures are, and this is a way we have to do to succeed in this job. It's a win.
Yeah.
It's a win. If you go by this, you win.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think one company that comes to mind, and it's, many others speak about this company as well. One company that comes to mind that have mastered not only systems, but company culture, and they have communicated it very well to each and every one of us is Chick-fil-A, right? They are the model citizen for, hey, this is what I stand for. We don't open on Sundays. These are the reasons why we don't open on Sundays. This is what we wear. You wear a belt, black pants, black shoes, red shirt. You wear your hat. You wear a smile every day, and you wear kindness. And when you get your chicken sandwich, it's going to be like this. It's going to have 2 pickles. It's going to be in a bag. So they are a perfect example of systems, and it works. When you go to the Chick-fil-A drive-through, majority of the time you're going to get through there pretty quickly. And sometimes just observing, I'm like, this system is amazing, but I'm not sure how they know who's behind who. They have like 2 lanes and they're filtering it, but that's because they have amazing systems and they're able to train their team and communicate their vision and their mission to the world. So, okay. Well, thank you. Is there any other questions? Peter, yeah, did you have a question?
Well, no, I was just gonna say what resonated with me. So with organizing events and partnering with cities, sometimes the budget isn't quite there. So we've had to, generate sponsorships. And I tell you, that is a nightmare for me. I always said, I don't like begging for money, but I mean, I have to. And where your point that really resonated with me is just keeping positive thoughts. You said you ask 10 times, you hear 10 no's. That was my life last week. And at one point I was like, don't cry. But I did because I felt like, why am I getting so much no's? Like nobody wants to sponsor a Juneteenth event, But I think it's important, and I do forget sometimes as a business owner, just having so much stuff going on, like, just not taking stuff personally, number one, but just having the positive messages in your mind, because in the back of my mind sometimes it's like, see, you don't even know what you're doing. What are you doing? So just staying positive.
Yeah.
That resonated.
That's awesome. What is something that you could do today to start working on that?
Well, I have to go back and make some more calls again. I have to go face them again and call them, and they're like, call back Wednesday, call back Thursday. No, we're not gonna do it. So it's just continuing that positive thought that, what I'm doing, it is making a difference, and it is valuable. It's valuable to the community, it's valuable to the cities themselves that, like, I'm working with the city of Austin on the Juneteenth, and they really don't have a budget for it. So yeah, I will just remember what I'm doing is of value, and stay positive. It's so hard
Stay
sometimes,
positive,
but
yeah.
yeah. I'll remember that.
That's awesome. Jerry, did you have something to add to that?
No, it's off topic. It's a
Okay,
question.
that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So, it's regarding the hiring system. So I have a leadership organization that I run, and so I'm actually partnering with a few different schools, and one of the schools actually has a marketing class, and their students have to get internships. And so the teacher involved says, hey, we need, interns to have somewhere to go, and we know that you do marketing for yourself, and we would love to give you some interns. What's the process? I don't have one because I just started this a year ago, and I never thought someone would come up to me to say, oh, we really like what you're doing, and we would like students to be a part of it. So I guess what would be your recommendation, seeing as how, I didn't have a process or a system in place because I'm not at that point to have someone work for me or work with me. So I guess what advice would you give me in that regard?
Well, I guess there would be a few questions before
Okay.
kind of you set up the system, right?
Right.
If it's students that are working from home? Or is it going to be something virtually that they're doing, right? Because your system is going to be, you're going to write up your system. If you have somebody that's coming to work in an office or an area, that system looks a little bit different. If you have a system that they are going to be working virtually on different marketing campaigns, that system will look slightly different, right? Because there's certain liabilities if you're bringing someone into your place of work. So the system will be a little bit different just depending on, and I think that if you go back to the mind mapping and ask for what you want, okay, this is a leadership position, I have an opportunity for interns, how would this work? And what do you want that to look like? Once you establish that, then you can establish the system. But you have to define what it is that program. So it's a leadership program. You're going to have interns from the high school. Where are you going to meet? Are you going to meet once a month at the library? Is it going to be a Zoom call? Is it going to be a Google Meet? What does that look like for you? I think that process has to happen first, and then you can develop the system. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good. And that's awesome that you set up the leader and people are seeking you out. So there's definitely a need there. So that's great. Anything else? Anyone else have any more questions, John?
Well, I'm not in a place where I have to onboard any employees, because it's just me, but I connected with that point because I remember all of my onboarding experiences. Like, I worked for a big company. I won't say them since I may be on the air. But
Smart move.
yeah, I don't know if the NDA is still active, but I remember it's like, I wasn't dropped in, on day one. I got flown to New York. We did training. I was given a month before I launched my thing, and then again, I can't really go into specifics. And compared to another job experience I had where you're kind of foisted all your employee documents on the first day you walk in, and
Yeah.
and it's good that to get that before, or like we would have the health insurance is changing meeting, or the 401k thing right in the middle of a day, and it's like, well, I've got work to do, I've got calls to make, and just, so it's a tale of two job experiences, and I just want to underscore how important that is. Maybe one day I'll be on board with somebody, we'll see.
I'm quite sure that you will be. Now, with the experience that you had at the company, and this is, since no names were mentioned, right? So the experience that you had at the company that did the onboarding and really invested and nurtured you prior to launching, how long were you at that company as opposed to the other company, which was like, here's your stack of paperwork, good luck?
The better company at that was a little over 3 years.
Okay, and the other company?
A little under 4.
A little under 4? Okay.
Yeah. Different situations sort of there, and the first company laid me off on Snowmageddon, so.
Oh, no. That was.
Along with hundreds of other people, so.
Oh, no. Okay.
So it wasn't my doing. It was just
If that hadn't happened, then that's still a place that you would be.
possibly.
Because I think that makes a big difference. points as well. The amount of investment and nurture into each team member. Yes.
When I first started outside of the world of medicine, it was, I was like in a different country in a sense, because I spent 25 years as a physician, and I used what I learned as a physician because we had systems in place. And I thought about that at the time, when we first did that podcast how many years ago?
About 5 years ago.
Yeah, the name of the company was different than it is today, although I do some of the same things.
Yeah.
But I took what I did as a physician system-wise and thought about that. How can I inculcate what I wanted to do business-wise with what I did as a physician? So there's a certain number of things. You're faced with this situation. This is what you might consider doing. It's not always true, but it's true a lot of the time. On the other hand, I found myself with running golf tournaments and having a marketing company and whatever, that there were too many things being thrown at me. So the 1-3-5 plan, which I learned about today, is going to be helpful to me because it's just me. I always had a theory that if I had to work for a jerk, it might as well be. But the story here is that juggling so many things, and I'm sure we all can relate, that becomes more and more difficult as the time goes on. Because, especially if you recruit sick, like some of us do. So the 1-3-5 plan does make a lot of sense to me.
That's awesome.
In handling, going forward.
Yeah.
A little bit better.
I'm happy to hear that, and that's something that you can implement right now. Yeah.
And, excuse me, one last thing. I'm starting to incorporate QR codes into a lot of what I do, including with one of my clients who you know.
Yeah.
And so I helped her with the idea of creating a QR code. Do you know what the problem is with this QR code?
What's the problem?
The company I used for years and years, and when I first designed this and we tested it, it worked. In between the time that I got these cars and the company sold to a competitive company. So this doesn't work.
Small problem. Small problem.
Problems come up. How do you handle it?
Mind mapping.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just wondering if, do you think the onboarding process will be different depending on how your staff, meaning if you're hiring, the person I hired is through a temp agency. And I don't know if it's correct or incorrect, but my thought was, and I've hired before, I had a coordinator a few months ago, she got ill and she had to go back home. But anyway, my approach to each of them was different. Like the preparation with her, it was more detailed. The preparation through the temp agency, not so much. And maybe I'm looking at it, I don't know if that's the right way to look at it, so I don't know.
I have a couple questions. What's your end goal with the person that you employed as an employee as opposed to the one as a temp? Do you have the same goal for each of them?
That's a good question. For the person I employed, my employee really was for her to be there forever. And we really got along very well. She was really sorry to leave. I was really sorry that she had to leave, but they couldn't even figure out what was wrong with her. The temp person really, at first I thought I need this role filled. I need someone there really to fill in for her because she left suddenly. I'm not sure I'm trying to define. I got a person yesterday.
Okay.
And I thought, I don't know, I have to see how we sing, because I'm not sure.
So it seems like you're basing, you're not sure if this person is going to work yet or not.
Right, I'm not.
So I would say if you're bringing in someone from a temp agency and they're going to be doing repeatable jobs like they're filing and they're following up on the phone calls, then they should have the training just for that and see how they do with that. Then once those tasks are up and you feel that this is going to be a right fit, then you can continue with the training, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like it needs to be in increments as well.
Right.
Because just like John said, on day one company was like, here's everything, good luck. And, so it kind of, if you're, with hiring, it's, what do they say? Hire slow, fire fast, right? So you want to make sure that the person that you're bringing on to your team, that they're gonna be the right fit.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that it should be different if the end goal to bring in a temp person and then convert them to full-time. I think that the training, if it's for that position, regardless if they're temp or if they're coming on full-time, the training should be the same, but maybe incremental and not just everything on the same day.
Yeah, because I felt, even yesterday evening, after he had left, I thought, okay, this is a temp person. I don't want to share that much information, especially confidential information, whereas with my coordinator, I want her to get, I wanted her to get up to speed quickly, so I was all in with sharing with her, with the new employee. I've been a bit hesitant to share as much.
But I think there's a reason for that. Because there's a gut reason that we have
that's
sometimes.
probably why.
Yeah, there's something
Trust.
there. I don't think it's
Yeah.
just, I'm sensing not just a temp thing
Yeah.
there's something there, so.
Yeah.
But you can have also, onboarding for when you're bringing temp people in, for if it's just for a specific task.
Mhm.
So there's different ways, I guess, go back to the mind mapping and ask the question, right? What's your ultimate goal? If you're hiring the temp to perm, that's one thing. If you're hiring the temp just to cover a season, that's something else.
Right.
And I'm a big believer of VAs. So if anybody has interest in talking about that, definitely talk to me afterwards, of having a virtual assistant.
Oh,
So if there's tasks that need to be done in your company that don't require someone to actually physically be in your company, I work with VAs and it was a game changer for me in my life. So, but that is that, but I do have, something for you guys. So if anybody is interested, I do have it listed here. If anyone is interested, I am offering a, 30-minute business assessment and sharing a 30-day action plan for your business that I could share with each of you guys. And if you would like to book a call with me, that is my Calendly. I do have a giveaway as well. So I have 30 days business consulting with me. So I'm going to ask you guys a question and let's see who has the answer. How many rules did I share today on how to increase your, okay. Han? What's the number? 5. Okay, so everybody that had their hand in, you're in. The next question, what town do I have businesses in?
I'm in Charlotte. Austell. Oh.
Dr. Black, you already knew Douglasville. Okay, all right, so we have 2 in the running, is that correct? Denise, did you answer? No, okay. Okay, so the last question is going to be personal. Let's see. How many years industry experience do I have? 25. Good job, very good, Jerry. So you are the. So this gives you access to, I am now your business consultant for the next 30 days. Oh, and that's for you. Thank you, I appreciate it. And I just wanted to say thank you for having me today. I hope that what I shared brought value. I know spending time with each and every one of you, I learn as well, and I look forward to it every single time. If there's any way that I could be of service to you or anyone that you know, just feel free to have them reach out. And thank you so much for having me.
By the way, this is now the scheduling app.